Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name is Pete and this is a 5-minute Bags of Action review of The Night Comes For Us from 2018. This movie is the first Indonesian film produced by Netflix after seeing successful numbers on the streaming platform for films made in that country. It's an interesting premise here, not particularly easy to read. Ito, a gangland enforcer, caught amidst a treacherous and violent insurrection within his Triad crime family upon his return home from a stint abroad. That just scratches the surface really of what happens in this movie. It was written and directed by Timo Tjahjanto, who also wrote and directed Headshot, which I saw previously, and he co-wrote and co-directed the Safe Haven section of VHS 2, with working alongside fellow writer-director Gareth Evans of the Raid fame. And if you like the Raid movies, this is very much in that vein. It stars Iko Uwais from The Raid and The Raid 2, who was also in Headshot, and you may have seen him in Wu Assassins as well. But the main character is played by Joe Taslim, also from The Raid, but has also been in Hollywood movies Fast and the Furious 6 and Star Trek Beyond. Other members of the cast, you're going to guess what they've been in before. Julia Estelle was in The Raid 2 and Headshot. Hannah Al-Rashid was in VHS 2 and Buffalo Boys. Dian Sastrawadiya, apologies if I've mispronounced that, was in Gangster and also Crazy Awesome Teachers. Zach Lee was in The Raid 2 and Headshot, and Sunny Pang was in Headshot and Buffalo Boys. So it's a very strong cast, and if you've seen Headshot or either of the Raid films, then you've kind of got an idea of what this is going to be like. Now, this was the writer-director's love letter to 80s Hong Kong cinema, and that's noticeable in the style and also the setup for this movie, him being an enforcer for the Triad going back to Indonesia. Now, the big difference, though, is that this is much more like the other Indonesian martial arts movies, like The Raid and especially The Raid 2 that I mentioned, in the way that the fights are approached. You've got beautiful kinetic movement, almost like dancing, coupled with ultra-violence, and that's the key to this style. There is a lot of gunplay in this movie, but it pales into insignificance compared to the level of knife and machete work on show. This film is not for the faint-hearted. Plot takes a back seat once there's a reason for people to start attacking each other, and while I was marvelling at the phenomenal fight choreography and innovative camera work, there were times when it felt a bit hollow because you hadn't really been given enough time or enough reasons to care about the characters that were doing the fighting. And after 2 hours of relentless fights, it all comes, almost a bit too much. You can have too much of a good thing, especially when that good thing includes people hacking each other to pieces. Julia Estelle's character, although really well played, is a real deus ex machina as well, in that she only really appears to serve the story and at the most convenient moment to serve the plot. She's amazing though, and her fighting prowess is on a par with the two male leads. There are rumours of a spin-off movie for her character, the Operator, and I can see why, as her main fight is one of the film's real highlights. For a movie that revolves around protecting a young girl, the girl in question is put in some very hazardous situations. Imagine the baby scene in Hard Boiled turned up to 11. And there are chunks of the movie where the audience, and quite possibly the main character, almost forget she exists at all. When all the different threads of the films come together, it makes it much more enjoyable. And when you start to piece together the relationships from the past, from flashback scenes, it almost kind of starts to make sense. But the main premise of saving the girl feels like an afterthought, and some of the characters are very undercooked. Uwais, who is always great, isn't used enough for me, but the performances by him, Taslim, Lee and Pang are really strong, not just physically but also dramatically, which helps elevate this movie. Now, this could have been a bit shorter, with a tighter plot, and perhaps a more believable approach to what you can do after being seriously injured. I just didn't quite have the stomach for this movie, and feel the Raid films and the director's prior similar movie Headshot surpassed this one due to having a better story to accompany the superbly done fights. Having said that, as a visual spectacle, I say it's beautifully shot and the choreography is impeccable, and if you're in the right mood, you could absolutely love it. So all things considered, I'm going to give The Night Comes For Us a solid 3 bags of action out of 5. Have you seen The Night Comes For Us already? Do you agree with my assessment of it? Feel free to comment below or get in touch with us via email, Facebook or on Twitter. We have new episodes coming out weekly alongside our full-length podcast. Don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to get notifications. Bags of Action will always be free, but if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do that at our Ko-fi page.